approached by the GSMA some months ago, basically following feedback from their members who were increasingly concerned about what they perceived to be higher and higher fees paid in spectrum auctions and generally high levels of spectrum pricing. And their view is that that was negatively affecting their ability to invest in the future, and they were looking for an investigation to confirm if they were correct that spectrum prices were indeed increasing and to understand the impact that has on consumers. Firstly, we did indeed confirm that spectrum prices are rising. We looked at a 3-year moving average of spectrum prices, and we saw that they reached a kind of low point in around 2008 and have been steadily increasing ever since. Actual average spectrum prices are up about 250% since 2008, and reserve prices are up on average even more. We have a large database of spectrum awards data, which covers some 320 instances of awards across more than 60 countries. So we took that data and we also built data on investment in 4G, looking at metrics for that, and we also looked at prices across these countries. And what we discovered actually is there's quite a strong correlation between total spend on spectrum and lower rates of investment in 4G, so poorer performance in 4G. And also that higher spectrum costs are correlated with higher prices for consumers. Basically, for the consumer, the problem is that if spectrum is priced very highly, there is a reduced willingness of firms to invest in the network. So in practice, what does that mean for a consumer? Well, that might mean that they're getting lower 4G speeds than they would have got. It might mean that they don't get the same degree of coverage, that they're experiencing a higher latency, so higher delays in their call. And it may simply mean that they're paying more for the services. In the report, we make a number of recommendations. The first recommendation is simply to be conservative when setting reserve prices in auctions and the annual fees associated with spectrum. So, try and work out what you think the spectrum might be worth in an auction, and then set the reserve prices some way below that so that you're not at risk of choking off demand. The second recommendation is avoiding artificial scarcity. As I said, it's a renewable resource, you want to get it out there, so identify all the spectrum that's usable, ideally bring it out as soon as it's usable. Don't hold back spectrum because that's holding back welfare benefits. And then finally, I would say you want to try and de-risk the process for operators, and that means taking a long-term perspective and not placing obligations on licenses that would prevent companies, make it difficult for them to invest, or risk that they overpay and are choked off in their ability to make investments.
So if you follow these recommendations, what would be the impacts?
Well, that's a very good question. I think potentially a very virtuous circle. So if you think right now we're in the 4G era, spectrum is the essential resource for that, and the operators need more and more spectrum, and that will be even more true for 5G. The big benefit of pricing the spectrum at an affordable level and getting plenty of it to market as soon as possible is going to be that multiple operators have the resources to offer the best services to consumers. So you'll benefit from those services coming to market in a timely fashion, and you'll benefit from sustainable competition across operators.